Hey everyone, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And if you're interested in supporting me further, you can always do that by going to my Patreon or Ko-fi link. They're in the description below. In this one, I wanted to speak to you guys about something to do with a lot of the conversations I've been having with individuals from all over the world. Basically, I've been speaking to people, friends of mine, people who are living all over the world, in some of them in Singapore, some in Thailand, some in Canada, some in the UK. And it's been interesting where a lot of the people in this coronavirus epidemic or pandemic, this kind of crisis situation that we're in, a lot of people are kind of moving into the same vein of thinking, same way of thinking, same kind of direction of thinking, where, I'll ask them, what are you thinking about the future, or how are you thinking about the future? Are you thinking about, when this corona thing ends, are you thinking about what might happen then, or what are you thinking about? How are you going to do? How are you going to live your life then, or what are you going to do? Do you have any plans for where you're going to travel? I just kind of ask these questions just to kind of gauge where their mindset is at. And it's funny because every single person I've asked this question to has said the same exact thing to me, which is, I'm not even thinking about anything in the future. I am just trying to live day to day. Or I'm basically living today, day to day. And it's kind of fascinating to me because, obviously every religion or every spiritual modality that you might look into tells you exactly the same thing, which is live day to day, live moment to moment. Do not try to think too much about the future because nothing is certain and things change very fast. And if you're thinking about the future or the past, not living in the present moment, so you're not really living life, you're just kind of living in the future or living in the past, but not living here, this moment in time, this life that you're leading right now. And so every modality always tells you, come back to the present moment, live in the present moment, be in the present moment, forget about, as much as possible, forget about the future. Make your plans, obviously, but don't live in the future. Neither should you live in the past and forget about the past. It's already happened, it's done with. Learn your lessons and then move on. And, I thought, or in general, it's very difficult to live this kind of learning or this teaching because society in general, the universe in general, kind of pushes you to live in the future. You have to make plans for the future. You have to make plans for what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to make plans for what are you going to do after retirement, or where are you going to travel next year, or what are you going to do after you get married, or things like that, right? Like you have to always be planning for the future. And also, you'll always have to be spending time in the past because, oh my God, you're a terrible person. You did this in the past and you did that in the past, and you should repent and berate yourself and scold yourself and be mean to yourself for it, right? So in general, we're kind of like living in the past or the future, and we kind of move back and forth between the two, but we never really live in the present moment. And as time goes on with this coronavirus, especially, I'm noticing that a lot of people are kind of moving towards this present moment, slowly but surely. Yeah, maybe we're kind of just living day to day. So we're kind of living in this day, in this moment in time. We're thinking, okay, what am I going to do today? Or what am I going to eat today? What am I going to say to my friends today? Or who am I going to talk to? Or who am I going to spend my time with, right? Who am I going to call? And so we're kind of living day to day. We're not even thinking like, who knows what will happen in the future? Who knows when the quarantine will end? Who knows when the lockdown will end? It might be June, it might be July, it might be August. They might keep on extending it. They might, stop it next month. Who knows what will really happen? No one's really thinking about the future because there's no point thinking about it. No point thinking, oh, maybe I'll go on a holiday in December. Well, maybe, because you might get to go then because the quarantine might end, or maybe we might still be in it. Who knows? And so, there's really, as the quarantine has shown us, or the lockdown has shown us, there's really no point making plans for the future because it's just not possible, right? You don't know what might happen. And so you have to just live day to day, live moment to moment in this moment in time, and really, really try to live here in this moment in time because who knows what might happen in the future. And so many people are dying, and so many people are being affected by the coronavirus that you're like, well, I should really, really savor this moment. I should really savor this day. I should really savor this time that I have with my family and with myself because who knows, it might all end tomorrow, right? And these are all lessons that spirituality and religion has been trying to teach us for ages now. Buddhism especially, these are the two main tenets of it. Live in the moment, Don't suffer because you think about the future or the past. Just live in the moment. And you have very few moments left because life passes by quicker than you imagine. So try to savor each moment as much as possible. And these are the two tenets of it. This is the basic two tenets of Buddhism. And it's trying to teach us all these things, and religion in general is trying to teach us this, or spirituality. But of course, it took us, I think, the quarantine or the coronavirus or this pandemic to really be like, all right, cool, fine, I get it. Maybe I should stop making plans for the future because who knows what's going to happen in the future. And let me just live here in the moment in time and be here right now and really spend time with my family, really be here in this particular moment rather than rushing off to the future or running off to the past, because who knows what will happen in the future, and really who cares about the past, because it really doesn't matter, right? And I'm really grateful. I really love it because I think this is, hopefully people will actually stick to this learning and kind of hold on to it and keep it in the future as well, after the pandemic ends or after the quarantine and lockdown ends, because it's such a powerful lesson to keep and such a powerful lesson to learn. And it would be great if we could just keep on, obviously it would be difficult in the future, perhaps, but it would be great if we could just keep on living in this manner, living in the moment, trying to live day to day rather than planning too much for the future, trying to really be present in the moment and present with our families rather than rushing off to the future or running off to the past. And it would be really great if we could really hone in these skills that we're learning right now, the skill of, because it's really a skill to live in the present moment. It's very difficult, actually, if you really think about it. And if we could just really hone in this skill and really live with it and actually really hold on to it rather than forgetting about it as soon as the quarantine ends, I think that would be a very valuable thing that a lot of people would be able to gain from this quarantine and this lockdown period. Even if there's nothing else that you gain from it, even if it is a very difficult time in general, if you're able to gain this learning, this skill of being able to live in the present rather than not being able to live in the present and running off to whatever is happening in the future and the past, it would be great. I think that would be one of the most poignant, the most powerful things that could ever come out of this quarantine, of this lockdown. And I think that would really accelerate the spiritual awakening and growth of humanity in general. And I think that's the reason why this is considered a very poignant time in humanity's growth, because of this, I think, because of the fact that we're able to gain this learning about how to really live in the present moment, really be here, be in this moment in time, really understand that you have nothing else. There is nothing else. There is no past. It's already gone, and it's an illusion, and there is no future. It's still a delusion. You made it up in your head. It's an imagination, but you have no idea what the future will look like because it hasn't happened yet, right? And I know for me, whenever I imagine the future, it always ends up being different from what it actually was in my head. And so it's a waste of my time to even imagine it. And whatever has happened in the past, we don't actually really know what happened in the past because we create stories of it, of ourselves, and a lot of the past that we've imagined is actually false memories. And this is something that's been scientifically proven, that a lot of the past that you remember is actually false memories. It's not really real because we've made up stories in our head and we've added details to our past that don't actually even exist anymore or didn't ever exist. So if the past doesn't exist really and the future is obviously not there yet, then the real thing is only the present, and that's the gift. That's the gift that we've been given, is the present moment, and we need to live in the present moment. Otherwise, there is no real life. There is really nothing that you're doing. And this lesson, as I said, is going to be so important. And I know probably that a lot of you guys have learned this lesson already, are learning this lesson, and are probably using this lesson as well. And it's going to be transformational for a lot of the individuals who are really trying to hold on to this lesson and use it as much as possible. I'd love to hear your experiences of this and your experiences of the quarantine in terms of living in the present moment and not making plans for the future. Is this something that you're doing, or am I just imagining things? And if you are doing it, how are you doing it? I'd love to hear stories from you guys. You can comment below. And if you have questions, obviously comment below as well. Again, thank you so much for listening to my abstract stories. I'm so grateful that you're here on this channel, and I shall see you guys next time around. Bye for now.